Jeez. What the hell? Stupid thing. That wasn't it.
They said it was at least 8.5 feet tall.
It wasn't more than 8.
We probably locked eyes for maybe 3 seconds, and that was enough for me to just be completely scared out of my mind.
You put bait out too?
We have similar reports in Russia.
I must have watched it for about, a minute and a half.
A large something.
I couldn't explain what it was.
And that's when I saw the face peek out from behind the tree at me.
But ancient Native Americans have been recounting sightings for cities. Sightings of creatures all the creek.
They ran into this people that they called the creek devil.
Since the late 1950s, local and national newspapers have recounted eyewitness reports of 6 to 8 foot tall, hairy, man-like creatures roaming the mountains of Humboldt County in Northern California.
Where the crystal waters flow. No reason to consider company might show. But destiny would find you where you walked across the sand. Leave a world divided. Did Roger film a Bigfoot or man? Where are you now, Patty?
Well, welcome, folks. It's that time once again for the Friday evening Bigfoot Radio. And now for the Bigfoot research teams from across the country. Welcome, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? Well, as I've said before, how everybody's doing tonight, I don't know. You'd have to ask them, I guess. Anyhow, for everybody out there that either has a UFO encounter, Bigfoot encounter, strange things in the woods that you can't explain, you like to come on to the show and tell us your experience and what you saw and everything else, you can call us up at 667-770-1476, and the participant code is 759314#. Again, 667-770-1476, and the participant code is 759314#. So, as earlier, what were you talking about, little people, earlier, Snake Man, with running around your house?
Yeah. It was a weird experience. It was like early morning, and I was still awake, but then I went to sleep for a little bit. Dogs woke up acting weird, and I spotted these two individuals about the size from the tip of your pointing finger all the way down to the base of your thumb. That's how tall they were. And they were running really quickly, and they scattered. It was weird. I mean, I'm still going to set up cameras and see if I can catch it and see if I can figure out what the hell it is.
Wait a minute. How big were they?
From the tip of your pointing finger to the middle of the crotch of your thumb, where your thumb and middle finger meet.
Oh, shit.
That's how big they were.
Almost like what? 6 inches tall?
Yeah.
What do you got, little elves running around your area?
we don't know what it is, but you know, there's been reports of those happening before. I just never thought it would happen here.
Seriously, you mean you've had reports of these things before at your place or around your area?
Around my area.
The only thing I can think of would be something that small. What'd they look like? Do you know? Would they look like little tiny men, or what color?
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, sort of like men.
Were they kind of gray looking?
No, they weren't gray.
Were they wearing clothes?
Yes, it looked like they were wearing raggedy clothes.
The only thing I can think of is a leprechaun.
Huh.
I'm wondering if it was something like, I don't know, maybe like a pixie or something similar to that nature, but it was weird. I've seen it. I'm going to set up some cameras tonight and the next couple of nights, see if I get anything this time. I know I'll get a lot of my dogs.
Maybe they're Tom Thumb's cousins. Who knows?
But yeah.
What part of the house were they? You saw them?
They were in the living room area, and it was weird. Julie's had incidents where stuff like that happened. Stuff like of ours have come up missing in the past.
Huh.
Like one of my rings, a couple of her jewelries come up missing.
That's
and
weird.
It's like, yeah, it is weird.
Because I've seen YouTube videos where people have taken these videos, and you've seen looks like these little pixie, what do you call them?
Sort of like a gnome?
No, not a gnome. I'm trying to think what the hell they call them. It's like a little, what do you call it? Like a little tiny flying being. It looks like a human being, but they got wings on them. I'm not sure what to call them. It's weird.
You mean
I can't,
like Peter Pan stuff?
Yeah, almost like Peter Pan, but I've always thought that was just imagination. I didn't think anything like that was actually real.
Oh no. No. They are. When I was with the medium, we were out in Nathaniel. Oh God, Nate. It's a state park.
Old age, you can't remember shit.
You're right, but I do remember that she was really good with her camera on her phone, and she had a sharp, keen eye on so many things, and she, told me about fairies and little things and so on.
That's what I think about walking, fairies.
Yeah, these are like a fairy. And what I'm telling you, this experience that I had with her is that we were out in this state park wilderness, and and she's filming stuff with her camera.
Wow.
And she sees something by the tree, and she gets the camera and she videos this little. And I'm talking, we're there in December. Okay. And this little brown, like fairy with wings like a dragonfly or a praying mantis comes flying on the base of the tree, and she captures it on her phone. Huh. And I'm telling you, there are other, and she's always telling me about different dimensions and elves. And she gets it on her phone. And she was a magician with capturing things on her phone.
Wow.
So there are things out there what Snake Man is saying.
Yeah.
I just got to thinking, we were talking about orbs for I don't know how many years. I'm just wondering if these little things you saw running around on the floor, could it be something like they come out of like an orb or something?
Well, they did up and just disappear.
Orbs can take any form they want. They can take a form from a giant to a regular human being to a small little whatever.
Well, I know in England, there's a place called Fairy Hill. But the people there believe that there are fairies, and they take over this little hill here, and they run ragged through it and everything.
That part I don't doubt.
Mm-hmm.
We got fairies in San Francisco too.
Yeah, well, yeah, different kind, but yeah. But they seem like they were more mischievous than anything. I mean, by taking things from, like my wife, her jewelry's missing, one of my rings was missing, stuff like that. It's just weird.
Wow.
Leave a plate of food out. I don't know. Just see if they even pay attention to it. I mean,
shit, if he leaves a plate of food out, the dogs will get it.
Oh. Okay. Well,
not unless they can get up on the countertops or whatever, they might be able to.
Where you seeing them?
Well, that's why I'm going to set up cameras. I might do the old flower trick too, and set that across the ground in the areas that I've seen them at, and see if I can see any kind of tracks or anything like that.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, you get a footprint.
Or better yet, if you want to capture one, take some fly paper and stick it down the ground with food in the middle of it.
Uh-oh.
I don't feel like spending the whole morning trying to get that off my dog.
Well, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that one. Or you could put it up on the counter somewhere and put food in the middle of it. 1 step or 2 steps on that, you got them for dear life. Maybe they can grant you a couple wishes, too.
Should I warn my wife before I put them down on the counter?
I don't know.
And you said you saw them one time?
So far, only one time, and that was just by accident.
Yeah. You got lucky. Did your wife get to see them?
No, not yet, but I told her about it. She's told me about experience, too.
Huh. I've never had that happen to me ever once. I do remember, I think it was back in 1994 when I was in Chico, California, up north. By the way, Chico, California is like a college town. I was sleeping in my apartment with my ex-girlfriend. She was sleeping in the bedroom. I didn't feel good, so I was sleeping outside on the front couch. I had the flu, and I didn't want her to get it, so I woke up, I think, about between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, and there were these 2 little beings. They looked like little tiny children, but they were gray-colored. One was at my foot, the other one was up by my head, and they were holding this weird-looking board in their hand, and I was frozen. I couldn't move. I couldn't do nothing, and I had a hell of a time breathing because my sinus and everything was all clogged up, and I wasn't feeling good, and I wasn't on no medication either. And when they had left, I could breathe better. I wasn't congested no more, nothing like that. That's the weird part. Well, I know what they were, but, but they weren't little tiny people like what Snake Man. They were actually, it's actually what we call the little gray alien type children, I guess you want to call them.
Yeah, and well, the one thing that really stuck out to me was, before this, I remember when I would doze out, you know how you hear people talk to you? Mm-hmm. And it's loud in one ear? Mm-hmm. It was like they were whispering in that ear, and then, boom, it just happened quick. I mean, and this is what's coming to mind here, is that it might have been them, because the dogs all sat up at the same time before I did.
So they heard them before you did.
Right.
See, a dog can actually see things where a regular, normal human being can't. That's like a child. A 1 or 2 or 3-year-old, even a 5-year-old child can see things where an adult can't.
The question is, what do I label this as?
Paranormal? I don't know. The little people of Lilliput. I don't know.
I mean, it's something that's unknown, and there's a lot of occurrences of it happening.
You could label it as Gulliver's Travels. I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
Or Snake Man's Travels. That'll work.
I just thought that it was something very strange and it should be brought up on the show so people could help me decipher what the hell it is.
Yeah, because that's the first time I ever heard something like that one. What about you, Anthony? Have you ever had any experiences like that? Oh, wait, you said you did. That's right. Never mind. Dumb question. I'll retract it.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about? He said he did. I didn't hear nothing.
I said, you talked about a while ago how your ex-lady friend or whatever took a picture of a little tiny... That's why I said I'll retract that.
But you're mentioning Anthony.
No, I said Chris.
You did say my name, Giant. Maybe you meant to say Chris. But
maybe I meant to say Chris. I don't know. I wasn't even thinking.
You drinking already?
Yeah, I've been drinking water, but who knows what they're putting in this stuff nowadays.
Hey, guys, he gets confused. You know how it is.
Yeah, I know. I do get confused. I will admit that.
It happens to all of us.
I got too much pee on the mind.
Now listen, I sent you Anthony, and I sent Stephen and Snake Man a picture of something I found in the woods.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
And you didn't, comment on it. I mean, you want to comment on it now?
Actually, I did make a comment on it. I said it looked like a bunch of maybe bigger twigs underneath with small twigs on the top, but I didn't know if it was a fire pit or what it was. And then I think you came off the wall and says, well, it could be something like a little, I guess like an animal pen or something like that. I'm like, I don't know. That'd be kind of what's he going to hold in it? Worms and grasshoppers?
No, but the thing is, man, did you look at the video?
Yes, I did.
I didn't look at that. I didn't look at that part. Hold on, I'm still on there. I just haven't looked at the video.
While you Giant, let me tell you, Chris. I was at my parents' house cutting their grass. So when I got that text from you, I that's the reason why I didn't respond. But I did find it interesting. It's funny because when you saw the pictures, and I'm over here saying, well, and then I heard the other, I saw the other comments. And I'm like, oh, so he didn't make this, he found this. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, it's pretty interesting. I don't know if you stuck your hand in there or not, but that would if you would have stuck a brush in there, that would have been like, one way to find out if that was man-made or not. You stuck a branch in there, and if it was a trap, obviously the trap would have been set off. But but I don't know if you poked inside of that or not. But either way, that was an interesting find. That was it. I mean, sometimes you come across weird things like that, and you saw the rock formations that the rock stacks that I had in the past. Some of them just look like simple going straight up, but some of them are just like elaborate. Almost like like making a design out of the making. And I'm like, I'm like that one kind of. Like when I find a rock stack, okay, I get it. They might be in the area and stuff like that. I'll take a picture and everything like that. But when I see a rock stack that has like, that is kind of odd, and then you see a whole bunch of smaller rocks that like going in a circle around the big, on top of a big rock. I'm like, who does this? You know what I mean? So
yes.
So when you said pictures, that reminded me of that. That reminded me like, well, who put things like this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The smaller one reminded me sort of like how they have the domes for like chickens?
Yeah.
You put them inside it and keep the animals away from them. Just imagine if that was the case, that they probably put a log or something over the top to keep it from getting out. And that's how they kept their food for later that night.
I just got to looking at that picture again, and I said, could be on the bottom with small twigs being stacked to the top. Looks like a small fire pit. Chris Marola said, yeah, small fire pit or bird trap or miniature hut. And I'm thinking here, thinking to myself, I don't know if a Bigfoot would be able to stick maybe his big toe in that.
I was playing a joke or not.
Yeah, you're a real jokester, alrighty.
But the thing is, it was. I made another video that I'm going to put on YouTube about it. But I mean, they were just really fine, thin. In this other video I zoomed in, I mean, just tiny sticks. I mean, they had to take their time to put that. I mean, very thin. I mean, like the end of branches, like they were very small, like chopsticks. You know, they're chopsticks twigs all around in that basket.
Well, maybe,
I mean, you know, and then bigger.
Maybe they were bored to death. I mean, maybe every once in a while they got bored of that. I'm gonna screw on these sticks, do whatever.
Yeah, but it was a pattern, man. I mean, it was a pattern of like art. They wanted you to see this, but they were very detailed about it. It's just not like you and I or some Anthony and Snake Man putting sticks on top of sticks and making it. It was defined. I mean, right. Who would put on like a medium-sized stick and then a little chopsticks in between, and then a medium-sized sticks and then a larger sticks, and building this circle. You know, I mean,
something by looking at it again. It kind of looks like what they call a hedron object. It's got like, if you look at it very closely, look at the way the sticks on are placed in it. It looks like one of those weird, what do you call it? A hedron, hex, whatever.
Hexagon?
Almost like a hexagon, almost in a way, but it looks like it's got a mathematical equation stuck to it.
It could. You know, I mean, who would do this in the woods anyways?
Sure as I would.
I mean...
And it's got a hole in the center of it. Usually if you're going to build a fire pit, you're going to just stack wood on top of it, just whatever. But this has got a hole in the middle of it.
Yeah. I mean, is this some type of... I want... Listen, Anthony, I want to stick my hand in that. I'll tell you that right now. You know, I just in case there was a snake in it. Snake Man put a snake in there.
No, I know that, but you should have stuck like a branch in there, you know, just to see.
I guess I could. I could go back and and try that. You know, I mean, it's there. I don't think it's going to be disassembled. It was made for somebody to find and see.
Was there any footprints around that area?
No.
Oh, that's weird.
No.
I was curious, was there any hair samples on any of the sticks that were piled there that you could see?
You know, be honest with you, I didn't even look for that. I mean, but I was looking at I got down on my knees and started looking and saying, damn. I mean, those are not like, medium-sized sticks. They're twigs in there. I mean, like chopsticks. I mean, they were fine. I was blown away that they built that thing to be so high using every type of piece of branch that would stick, twigs to build that. It just wasn't like, you and I and Snake Man and Anthony, we'd be just putting like medium sticks, maybe a large sticks. And I'm talking like, paper thin twigs.
Right.
And, to do that. And that's what got my attention.
I thought of something just now. What if it was a juvenile copying the adult, making the same thing?
I never thought about that one.
Good point.
It's a possibility.
That's why I brought it to attention. I'll go back there next week, and
that's if it's still there.
Wishing I could stick my camera in the inside and rotate it, but I was going, oh, maybe I might screw it up. Whatever.
Was it bigger than your camera?
The entrance on the top?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could fit my camera in. Yeah.
Huh, so that's almost about the size of a giant fire pit then.
Oh, there's no giant fire pit. This thing was maybe, like 3 feet wide, 3 feet in circumference.
Okay.
Wasn't that big?
I'll bet you anything. When you go back next week and you look at it, it'll be burnt.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be your luck
Don't
to put
say
your
that.
camera in there, and Bigfoot would end up with a new camera.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that because I've actually seen deals where Bigfoots can actually make fire.
Repeat that?
I said I have seen things where actually Bigfoots or Sasquatches, whichever you want to call them, can actually make fire.
Huh. Oh, okay.
They have a, what do you call it, mountain monsters. I was watching one of their shows, and I did talk to Jeff Hadley, and Jeff Hadley's knowledgeable when it comes to the Sasquatches they have around the Appalachian Trail. And they have one in there they call the, I forgot the name of the Bigfoot, or the Sasquatch, but it's supposed to be the fire barrier. And these Sasquatches where he come from actually know how to make fire.
Well, you think about it, Bigfoot, Sasquatches, they mimic us, so therefore maybe they picked it up from us.
I wouldn't doubt. Look at the Native Americans. They use wooden sticks to make fire.
Well, you know, I'm not going to argue. Other places other Bigfoots may know how, but the ones I've been around here in Northwest and even Colorado, they kept their distance when I had the fire.
Right.
And when I was with the medium, they even talked to her, telling her where I was this two months ago in April, same spot. They told her that make the fire low because the little ones were afraid of coming closer because she was burning that fire so high, man. I'm not kidding. You could see it from a satellite. I mean, she just was so paranoid on there. But then after she started drinking her wine and whatever, and smoking and all that shit, she calmed down. And once she started calming down, she could start using her gifts that she had.
Right, but she still freaked out.
Oh God, yeah. The woman stood definitely. There was a bipolar connection with her, which really disappointed me in her because she fooled me a lot. But she was on point on so many things that she was telling the truth. And that's the only reason I brought her with me. And she was saying one time, she goes, Chris, we got to make the fire lower. And after she had it real high, she says, and they were talking, and she was able to communicate. And they said to make it small because she says the little ones were frightened from it. She didn't say the big ones were, but she said the little ones were.
I think it's basically you have different species of big. Some are afraid of fire, and then some aren't.
Right.
It all depends on where you're at, too.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in Colorado, man, I burned that fucker. Excuse my language. I burned that fire 2, 3 in the morning every night. Because I know they were looking at me in the trees, you know, and I wanted to see. And that fire was the radius of that brightness of that fire is as far as I could see, except when they were in the trees and their eyes were glowing. I knew they were there.
Oh.
But, but it gave me a little bit of comfort. I'm out there by myself, you know, and you're right, Steve. It depends on where they are. You know, I mean, I've heard about Bigfoots living in farmlands with farmers and stuff and things like that, and they had some type of relationship on stories that I've heard. And, you know, and I'm sure that fire and everything had to be, used to and it got acclimated with, and they adjusted and they could. So, you know, these beings are magical, so they can do whatever they want, honestly. I mean, I'm surprised that would even be an issue with them being reason. But
Right.
You know, but that going back to that piece of artwork, I'm thinking it's a design for something. I don't know if it's a trap like keeping birds in or something like that, but it was just there. I was lucky to stumble upon it.
And there was no footprints, nothing around there that would indicate that. I mean, I would have looked on the ground
there was
for
no
footprints or something.
There wasn't even these, and if you look at it again, they weren't snapped.
Huh.
Those little sticks and stuff, they're not snapped. They're like picked up off the ground. Well, like me breaking my kindling and stuff on my knee and stuff when I'm out there Bigfooting. Now, they were clear white ends of the branch broken.
I know that, but I mean, they don't have to be snapped for somebody to step on the ground and make a footprint around there or something.
Oh, no. I mean, say making the snaps to build the thing.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see those snaps at all. Looks like they were just laying there or something.
Yeah, these were laying from the ground that they picked them up, not making it, okay, I'm going to break it this size and put it on there. If you look, they weren't broken.
Yeah, and you can see like a little tiny, what was it, like a 3 or maybe a 8-inch diameter pole-like branch sitting right next to it.
Yeah. Well, I honestly, I'll spend more time there, but and looking for, but I didn't see anything unusual. And I was looking for Bigfoot signs too, like a Y or an X or a V, right. But I didn't see one.
Right.
And this was not too far from a pond. I was only maybe 40 feet from a pond.
Huh.
A nice small pond, yeah. But they leave things out. Maybe they knew I was going to come by. I don't know. I never seen anything like that. I've seen skeletons of them bending saplings over one over another, and then when fall came or winter, they would whatever branches that they had that they're saplings to make a tent that they would go underneath had disappeared, and all of a sudden I'm walking in the woods and going, well, why is that thing bent this way? And there's a log holding it down on the end, and then another one there, and figured it out. And I heard stories that these arcs, besides being portals, they make them into a place that they lie underneath, and they get branches and they hang them on top of these saplings on the side and so on, so they're comfortable. And that was a lot of those around the cabin when I was over there, And like Anthony said, there could be a little one making that thing like a replica. There was also little ones next to the big ones I found around the cabin where the little, like 3-foot Bigfoot would sleep in,
Right.
But it was interesting.
It could be a little small corral to put like little animals in or whatever, but anything I guess.
I think basically, really, it's just a piece of artwork. I don't think really. I mean, it was just something for people to see or stumble across and go, "Wow, what?" I don't think any human would take the time to put. I don't know how many 2,000 sticks in there. I mean, with the little ones and so. I mean, there was a lot of little sticks in there. I'm going to get more defined for you, man. I'm talking things like chopsticks. No thicker than, even thinner than chopsticks.
Well, I know what you want to do is when you go back there next time, see if you can find the sticks about that size and build one right next to it and see what their reaction would be.
I would be there till September doing that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm serious. I mean, that was a lot of fine detail. That's what really made it
perfect. You could make it like a teepee and just leave it for them and see what they do with it from there.
Well, man, you just reminded me, Snake Man, when I was in Colorado, bigfooting and finding these huge teepees. Man, I'm going like, what? You got to be kidding me. These things are like 15 feet high. These huge teepees.
I've seen those before.
Yeah. These are not a small teepee. These were huge teepees, and they're, there's no skin or cowhide or buffalo hide doing it around it. I mean, there was like 30 of them.
Yeah, it's like branches and stuff covering them up and stuff like that. That's all it is.
Yeah. I mean, you're just not ready for it. All of a sudden, bingo, here, and it's in the forest. It's not like you're in an open area and there's a teepee there. All of a sudden, you're in the forest. And there it is. Mm-hmm. I recorded it. It was pretty cool.
You want to go on YouTube and watch Dual Survivor.
Oh yeah, I do watch Dual Survivor.
It's got what's his name?
What guys are you talking about? One left after a while.
Yeah, the one that lives up in Prescott, Arizona. I can never remember his name.
Cody?
Who? Yeah, what's his name?
Cody?
Yeah, Cody. I like Cody. He knows what he's doing out in the woods, no problem.
Wait, which one was the one with never wore shoes?
That was Cody.
Oh, Cody. Oh, I thought that was the military guy, Cody. Okay. Yeah, all right. Cody was the one that...
No, the military guy said there's no way in hell he'd ever get him to go barefooted.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't go barefoot. That guy was insane going snow barefoot. And then he finally gave in and put on his socks.
Socks? Whatever. I'm going to put on those socks. I'm going to wear warm boots. I'm going to stay home.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he just put them on those so the guy would shut up and quit nagging him about it.
I was at a friend's house recently. I think his friend bought a new house.
Who?
And on one side of the house has nothing but like poison ivy, even though the grass is cut. I'm like, hey, look, are you aware there's a lot of poison ivy on this side of the house? And she was kind of like upset about it that I'm finding it. I'm like, look, I'm not, trying to ruin your day, but you got poison ivy, a lot of poison ivy on this side of the house, And so I only bring that up to say, like, if this guy's going out in the wood barefoot, I mean, it could look like a nice grassy area, but by the time you step on something, you're like, oh, too late. You know what I mean?
Something, Anthony? When I was a kid, this is no joke, this actually happened. When I was a kid, me and my dad both would drink goat's milk. Okay, some people say they don't like goat's milk because it's too sweet. Well, I mean, I've drank goat's milk mostly all my life, and I like this stuff. My mother and my sister said they couldn't stand goat milk. They would never drink the stuff, okay? I was about maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 years old. We went camping with my mom and dad up in, I think it was Shasta Lake somewhere, or Whiskey Town Lake, somewhere up in Northern California. And we went walking around the woods and everything else. We went back to the camp and went to bed. The next day we got up, my mother and my sister both had poison oak. They looked like nothing but bullfrogs. Oh my God, were they puffed up. Me and my father, we never caught it, ever. I can go out in the field, I can rub my hands and poison oak, I can rub it over my body and never once catch it. I can do the same thing with poison ivy, and I'll never catch it.
But here's the thing, Giant. I hear what you're saying, okay? But here's the thing with the goat's milk, okay? If the goat eating the poison ivy and you drink the goat's milk from it, yes. A lot of people realize that they don't have an allergic reaction to the poison ivy.
Yeah.
But that's it. The goat, is eating the poison ivy. If the goat's not eating the poison ivy, you might have a different reaction.
Well, I mean,
so that's probably
there's something in goat's milk that has enzymes in it that helps your body build proteins to keep you from getting all this stuff that all these normal people get. That's what I'm getting at.
Well, there's no doubt that goat's milk is more beneficial to you than cow's milk.
Yeah.
The human body can absorb 100% of the vitamin D that's in goat's milk, whereas at best they can absorb, maybe 17% of the cow's milk vitamin D.
Yeah.
After it's
exactly.
homogenized.
Exactly.
You know, if that percentage might be higher, but after homogenized and pasteurized, yeah, at best, you know, it's like 15%, 17%.
Well, I don't know. Me and my mom and dad, we used to go to the dairy as a kid, and we never got our milk, the what do you just call it, homogenized or whatever. We got our milk straight from the cow.
Yeah, raw cow's milk is best for you. It's not, you know,
it's a lot better for you too, and don't have all that chemicals in it.
All the goat milk that Giant drinks. No wonder he goes, Anthony.
Do what? Do what? Ask who?
He said you sound like a billy goat, man.
Ask any?
Oh, God.
Yep.
That's what
How you doing?
Yeah, okay, Slang Man. Just remember, I know how karma works. You find yourself a scorpion the next time I send you some peppers.
Bring it on.
I know what he's going to say. I ain't afraid of you. I'll send him something he will be afraid of.
What's that?
I don't know. I'll have to figure that part out.
Oh, dear Lord.
I hope someday we get to go camping together.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be funny.
All of us in one spot together? Oh, God.
Oh, that'd be too funny. They would make a movie of that.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, I was just saying that we need a film crew.
Yeah.
We'll make Snake Man a film crew. They always say a one-man band.
You're funny. Well, as it is, me and my wife have been talking about me getting a grant to maybe get a film crew to start filming some videos of, for a documentary type style movie of in the life and time of Bigfoot investigators and paranormal investigators.
Oh, with the life and times of Snake Man. Almost like the life and times of Grizzly Adams.
Ooh.
But no, I'm being serious about that with the, it's like a documentary on what it's like to be a Bigfoot researcher or a paranormal investigator.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's kind of cool, but I mean, if you're going to get a grant, I mean, let's do something that will capture attention. I know there's a lot of people out there. I know there's a lot of good podcasts out there. I know Small Town Monsters got a bunch of videos that you could watch. I mean, they're great videos and stuff like that. But I mean, they're not in the theaters, but like anybody in this type of research knows about them. And so, basically like that. We just want to, come up with something that will capture people's interest and just to be another reliable source of factual.
I get that. But I also want to show the people out there what we really do, what we're really doing. Like, what's Anthony doing when he's out investigating? What's Chris doing when he's investigating? Or Steve, or me, or whatever, or paranormal investigating. What's it entail? What's the dangers of it? What's the good and the bads of it?
Well, I mean, you can do that. You could do that, but and again, I'm not trying to shoot you down or anything like that. But I know that good, bad, is going to be similar to others, or so it's going to be different, and then I'm not saying that it wouldn't be interesting, but making this, is it going to make more people interested or not? Because my opinion, and this is just my opinion, doing something I'd like to get more people interested in. Somebody, to ask about what I like, what I don't like when I do this stuff. Yeah, I can talk about that. You know what I mean? But again, like, and again, these are just my ideas. If you're going to get grant money and then start with the film crew and stuff like that, you want to do something to capture people's interest and stuff.
Right.
One of the like with me when I come up with these old articles, it's not like Anthony's doing anything special. No, I'm just looking them up. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why is because the world is going AI crazy.
You don't have to tell me.
I can have a video of a female Bigfoot giving birth, and then the mother and father celebrating. And this is I'm just saying, for example, and the first thing somebody does today when they see an actual footage of a creature is, what are they going to blame it on? AI. They're not going to believe it's real.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of people are giving AI credit. Matter of fact, in this day and age, they're giving AI too much credit.
Yeah, because AI is taking everything over, and you can't tell real from fiction. But there is an app out there you can actually use, and it's through Google, and it's called Gemini, and Gemini can actually look at it and tell you if it's fake or not, which I love that part.
Yeah, unfortunately, Anthony's correct.
Yeah.
They're gonna.
That's why you have. Don't get me wrong. That's why you have mostly all these dating sites are out here. Nobody can trust nobody out there nowadays to actually find somebody real. You be talking to an AI for all you know, and you be paying money and all this stuff, and you'll never get nothing out of it because you're talking to a stupid bot.
Yeah. Oh.
Dating just ain't worth it no more. And people aren't being as real as they used to, like back in the 1990s or the beginning of 2000s. They're not being as real with people like they used to be.
I mean, back in the 1990s, early 2000s, when people would, on YouTube, when you look for Bigfoot videos on YouTube, my God, there was like, out of 10 videos, 9 of them would be hoaxers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll always remember like one video that says, "Oh, we got Bigfoot. We caught him on tape." And then when you press play, it's somebody's foot wrapped around packing tape.
Yeah.
Well, there's a Bigfoot on tape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a big on that, But again,
but now you
just,
go to Facebook and you look at what they looks like. They say it's a Bigfoot, but if you can tell by looking at the video, it's not a Bigfoot. All it is an ape standing up like a man with hairy arms. But it's not a Bigfoot. A Bigfoot face is totally different than an ape by a long shot.
Well, you know what? We still could go out and just enjoy, contact ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the idea of Think Man getting a grant, and coming up with a documentary or something.
Yeah, I would too.
But I think that like with the Expedition Bigfoot and with Todd Standing, with others out there. I mean, right now we can go out there and capture similar recordings. We can capture the eye shine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think, and if you do a search on YouTube, it's an old video, but the first time I saw it was when Bobby Short was alive. And I think she put it up on her website, God rest her soul, before she passed away. I think it was called BigfootEncounters.com. But you can look it up on YouTube. It's called the Woodpile Sasquatch. And and it was and if you know what I'm talking about, the Woodpile Sasquatch is people around a campfire, and they just had a thermal camera while the campfire's going, and everybody's just having a conversation. And but the thermal camera caught something in the distance. I mean, absolutely huge. It was down on its belly, looking, big pair of eyes, and you see the arm. You see the arm movement. It looked like it's resting its arm on a pile of wood and stuff like that. And what I liked about this video was that they just simply dissected it. Like, look, the campfire was here, we were here, the creature was back there, and when they looked at the eyes, when they replayed it in the daytime and they compared it to the nighttime, and when you look at the distance of like the size of the head and the distance of the eyes and the length of the arm, you're like, there is a massive. I mean, this thing was literally on the campsite, and nobody knew it was there. Oh. It was just convenient hiding behind a pile of lumber, and nobody knew it was there, and it was just staring at them while they were all having a conversation at the campfire. You know what I mean? And and again, when they compared the like in the daytime, the distance and everything like that, hey, it's a no-brainer. Something big was watching them the whole time that they were at the campfire. It's awesome. So any future research, I highly recommend, especially to others listening, invest even in a cheapy thermal camera because it could big, as far as capturing evidence.
Well, let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back.
Your underarms are under attack. The harsh deodorants are bullying your body and choking your pits.
See you later, nerd.
Don't sweat it, Mike. I've got something that'll turn those bad pits into Brad pits.
What's in the box?
Trash your old deodorant and give B.O. the boot with Dr. Squatch Natural Deodorant for Men. Featuring an odor squatching system tough enough to tame your manly musk all day long. And scents that'll give you the most popular pits in town. Want to smell like a mountain? Try Alpine Sage. Want to smell like a waterfall? Splash Fresh Falls. Want to smell like a sexy pirate drunk on your own scent? Boom. Bay Rum, we've got you. Click the link to ace your scent with Dr. Squatch. All right, class. Today's lesson, Stink 101. Teach me, sensei. Sweat is a natural process, but it turns your underarms into a cafeteria for bacteria, feasting on your sweet, sweet sweat, causing BO. What about these yellow stains? Antiperspirants use aluminum to try to trap sweat. But you can't stop nature. The sweat that sneaks out mixes with the aluminum and makes it look like your shirt peed its pants. But what it does to your body is much worse.
Oh no, he's back!
This toxic bully suffocates your pits, trapping waste, parabens, and glycol inside. Like a fart in a locker. Stop covering yourself with aluminum. You're not leftovers. You're a man. Yes, and what are the glycols? Glycols are petroleum-based greaser found in antifreeze and most synthetic deodorants.
And remember, what goes on your body also goes in your body.
Thanks, wise janitor. Dr. Squatch Natural Deodorant absorbs your sweat and neutralizes BO with our odor squatching system of pit-friendly ingredients like charcoal, arrowroot powder, and probiotics to turn your armpits into charm pits. Most natural deodorants fail the test for active, hard-working men. For extra credit, some can cause rashes and smell worse than BO. And what's the point of natural if it doesn't stay fresh? It's time to graduate from midday meltdowns, pee-stained pits, and chemical chaos wreaking havoc on your body. With Dr. Squatch, these pitfalls are history. Any questions?
Yes, I smell amazing.
Not a question, Mike. But yes, you do. Click the link to get the best natural deodorant delivered to your door and join hundreds of thousands of Squatchers helping to create a better smelling world, one pair of pits at a time.
And we're back. God, I get a kick out of that commercial. Just about the middle, it sounded like he farted. God.
What in the world? I thought you were talking about.
You don't hear that?
I hear it. I thought somebody was joking around. Chris, man, we lost Chris again?
You didn't hear that? I did.
Chris, you're fired.
Anyhow, what about you, Snake Man? Yep.
Somebody call Chris. Somebody call him. Get him back on the line.
I don't know if that'd work. Hold on a minute. Let me see something here. Let me see what happens. Let me see. That'd be a rude awakening.
You wide awake. What happened?
Hey, you didn't hear that in the background. I did.
Snake Man, you're still up, right?
Oh boy. You there, Chris? Snake Man, are you still there? Did you fall asleep too?
No, I'm still here.
Oh boy.
Who fell asleep?
Chris did. He's snoring.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
All right.
If this radio show isn't comical, I don't know what is.
Well, I mean, he was wide awake.
Yeah, he was. He just fell asleep. Don't worry about him. Anyhow, what else is going on? What does anybody else think about the Bigfoot situation? Because where I'm at, I haven't had any sightings at all. No Bigfoot would be caught dead down here in this weather. There's just no way.
Huh. Well, it's too bad Chris fell asleep because I had pulled up some old articles again, just like I was talking about earlier. I wish he was awake for this, but because I know he likes it. But these articles, Giant, you're going to like them.
Oh,
guess where they're at?
I've got my ears open.
This one comes from True Magazine, March 1960. And guess where?
Shasta,
I give you three guesses, Johnny.
Shasta County. Shasta County.
Mount Shasta.
Yeah, that's what I said. Shasta County.
All right. So this is the article I found. Now listen to this. My grandfather prospected for gold in the 1850s throughout the region described as being home of the snowman. Upon grandfather's return to the east, he told stories of seeing hairy giants in the vicinity of Mount Shasta. These monsters had long arms but short legs. One of them picked up a 20-foot section of slopeway and smashed it to bits against the tree. When grandfather told us these stories, we didn't believe him at all. Now, after reading your article, it turns out he wasn't as big a liar as we youngsters thought. And that was written by John Meeks.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yep, True Magazine in 1960. Okay. Now, we did find another short article I'll give you another 3 guesses because you mentioned this place earlier today, Giant.
Let me see. Lassen County?
Huh?
Chico, California, Butte County, or...
Yep.
Huh?
It's in Chico, California.
Yep.
All right. So this is from March the 5th, 1918. All right. And it says George Bushnell, George Bushwell of Chico, returning from the Deer Creek country, reported finding the footprints of another Ishi or Ishi at a spot a couple of miles from where Ishi was captured several years ago. Did you catch that?
Mm-hmm.
Where it was captured several years ago, and this is 1918. Okay, a party from Chico was started out to find the second Ishi, and Ishi, and then it dives. Ishi was a wild man who startled a university scientist a few years ago. I wish, and that's all the article says, I wish that they would say which university that was. Because
that was more than likely Chico State University.
Yeah, well, if Chico State University caught the creature in 1918, they could have taken pictures. They could have, preserved the bones. It died. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So.
Yep, all that Northern California stuff, even the Marble Mountains where Ishi was actually found at, all that stuff is actually true. And Ishi was taken, I think, to Sacramento for study or whatever. And then, I think they took him somewhere back east or something like that for more study, or he died somewhere and they took his bones and his remains back to where his people came from. And I don't know if it was their ashes or whether they buried him up north or what, I don't know.
So now I have a much longer article, okay? And it's from November 10th, 1870. I'm fascinated with the old articles that I find because, again, this is not AI.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Look, the article I read to you was in 1918, from 1918, and they said they had caught an Ishi, several years earlier. So I'm like, my goodness, how many times have I read to you on your show of them capturing the creature?
Not that
For the last several weeks, every week I've been reading an article of them capturing them.
Yep.
So these are articles. So they are. I mean, history shows that they have captured the creature. I would like to know what they did with the bones, and especially in 1918, man, I mean, photography was, invented, I wish they would have taken a picture of it, either alive or dead, But, that's up to the university.
I mean, they actually did have photography back in those days. They had the thing where they had the camera in front, they had the flash they had to hold up in their hand that had flash powder in it and all that stuff. But, I mean, it took them quite a while to develop the pictures and everything else to put it in a magazine. But, I mean, they had it, but they didn't have the technology they have today, which is basically all AI.
Do we know exactly... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, John. Go ahead, Think Man. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, do we know exactly how old Bigfoot or Sasquatches get?
Actually, I don't think anybody really knows.
But, Think Man, that's not an easy question to answer.
All I can say is, if you look at mankind's history from the 1700s to the 1800s, mankind could live longer back in those days than he has now. Back during the 1700s and the 1800s, most have passed 100 years old. Today,
exactly.
It's lucky if you reach 90.
Exactly. And Anthony, that's why I asked that question, because nobody has an answer.
I mean, if Bigfoots live off the land, which they do, and they eat all the natural foods and stuff that are out there, which they do, I can imagine they live a lot longer than we do.
Other than the pizzas and the Twinkies that we give them when we investigate.
Because, for one, they breathe nice, natural, cool air. We don't, by the way. They breathe and they live around nature a lot more than we do. So, yeah, I can imagine them living around maybe 150, maybe 200 years old.
Yeah, they eat healthy, I'll give you that. Except for when us investigators leave them Twinkies and pizzas and stuff like that.
Right.
But, you know, I'm just curious. Nobody really has an answer to that question.
Well, here's the thing. You know, you remember there was one that they caught, and you know, and they had kept it in captivity. They were able to domesticate it somehow, but the thing is that you don't know. You know, it's kind of like It's like me lighting a candle and then asking you, when did I light it? Well, you didn't see me light it, so you don't know what time I lit it. All you know is that I lit it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But you can't answer the question of, when I lit the candle. Yep. You don't know the date or the time. Well, you might know the date, but you don't know the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, you know, it's the same thing with the creatures. You know what I mean? It's you know, unless you know you have you know, verifiable record of birth, and then, you know, kind of like these tortoises that they keep in the zoos. Like, yeah, this tortoise is 150 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah, because there's a history. You know, they picked it up. You know, when it was you know, a week or a month old or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's been here in captivity ever since. You know, so yeah, you know, then you could say that. You know, this turtle, you know, can live up to 400 years old. You know, there's nothing wrong with it, you know, so.
Right. But see, the reason I'm asking that is because, you know, we know how to tell what a freeze age is. We know how old rocks are. You know, we know all this stuff. But we don't know how old Bigfoot is. If he is an ancient old man or if he's a young juvenile. We don't know.
There is evidence out there that actually says how long the Bigfoots have been around. I think Ivan Marks, when he did a video of the legend of Bigfoot, he went up to Lassen County near Lassen Volcanic National Park, and him and a bunch of trackers went out there, and they found what looked like an old lava stone. And in the center of this lava stone, you could see a Bigfoot print that was in this stone, and they estimated the stone to be over at least 50,000 years old. So if the Bigfoot's been around since that time, it's like, holy crap, they've been around a lot longer than we have.
Well, I mean, it's, you know, maybe one day, Snake Man, question could be answered. But first things first.
Yeah.
First, we got to find the bug. You know, we got to, you know, I mean, I don't purposely look for the articles that capture them. I just am fascinated because I'm just looking for old articles on Wildman, and I'm finding that they did capture them in the past.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now,
so here's...
Go ahead.
No, I got a long article to read, so go ahead.
No, go ahead. I argued with a guy not too long ago about how Sasquatch could actually be the original caveman ancestor.
I don't see why not.
I have a hard time agreeing with that, and I'll tell you why. We do see the creatures make structures and, you know, teepee structures and bending trees and snapping trees and stuff like that. We do not see the creatures drawing art. Okay? We know Native Americans humans, okay, they're humans. Native Americans have, preserved and well respected, the drawings inside the caves, the drawing inside on the rocks and stuff like that. Okay. And so, yeah, but the point I'm trying to say is that we don't see the creatures doing, they haven't left artwork behind. They've left other things behind, like I just described. And same thing, they leave footprints behind, but they don't leave artwork.
Actually, that's not true. There is a place in California. It's between here and what's the place called? It's between here and Sacramento. Starts with a T. I can never remember the name of the county, but they have this little, I think it's like a little tiny ravine, and the Native Americans even state that the Bigfoots there have actually left artwork behind on a cave drawing. It's the only place anywhere in the United States.
Well, maybe you could, when you can, Giant, maybe you could, just share some more of that.
I'll have to look that up on the internet. The other Chris told me about it once, and I can never remember it's up near the, what's that forest called? It's not the redwood forest. These trees are bigger than the redwoods. I can never remember the name of the place, but it's not too far away from Lake Isabella, California, way up in the mountains. And these trees are huge, but
look at that.
Huh?
Look at that. I didn't even read the article, and I already put Chris to sleep.
Well, read the article.
All right. So this is from May 24th, 1873. Okay. Oh, no, wait. That's the... sorry. That's the wrong one. I'm sorry. I pulled the bookmark out, and I got to the wrong page. Okay.
Is this the Bigfoot lullaby hour?
Yeah, it is.
Rock
okay, what are you doing awake?
In a treetop.
So this is the Wild Men of California. Okay.
Yeah.
November 10th, 1870. All right. In 1870, just keep in mind, the telegraph and Western Union, I believe Western Union was active back then in 1870, but for sure the telegraph was transmitting news during the Civil War, and that was in the 1860s. Okay, they had photography, they had the newspapers, they had the telegraph. So that was, the way to get the news around back then. All right, so here it is, the Wild Men of California. November 10th, 1870. A correspondent of the Antioch Ledger, writing from Grayson, California, under date of October 16th, says, I saw in your paper a short time since an item concerning the gorilla, and it's in quotations, which is said to have been seen in Crow Canyon, and shortly after in the mountains of, maybe you can help me with this pronunciation, Giant, or Orestimba Creek, but anyway, Orestimba. All right. You sneered at the idea of there being any such critters in these hills, and were I not better informed, I should sneer too, or else conclude that one of your recent prospecting parties has got lost in the wilderness and didn't have any sense enough to find his way back to Terry. I positively assure you that this gorilla, or wild man as you choose to call it, is no myth. I know that it exists, and there are at least two of them, having seen them both at once not a year ago. Their existence has been reported at times for the past 20 years, and I have heard it said that in the early days, an orangutan escaped from a ship on the southern coast. But the creature I have seen is not that animal? And if it is, where did he get his mate or import her, as the Webfoot did their wives? Last fall, I was hunting in the mountains about 20 miles south of here and camped 5 or 6 days in one place, as I had done every season for the past 15 years. Sometimes I returned to my camp after a hunt and saw that the ashes and charred sticks from the fireplace had been scattered about. An old hunter notices such things and very soon gets curious to know the cause. Although my bedding and traps and little stores were not disturbed as I could see, I was anxious to learn who or what it was that so regularly visited my camp, for clearly the half-burnt sticks and cinders would not scatter themselves about. I saw no track near the camp, as the hard ground covered with dried leaves would show none. So I started on a circle around the place, and 300 yards off, in damp sand, I struck the track of a man's foot, as I suppose bare, and of an immense size. Now I was curious for sure, and resolved to lay for the bare-footed visit. I accordingly took a position on the hill about 60 or 70 feet from the fire, and securely hid in the brush. I waited and watched. 2 hours before, I sat there and wondered if the owner of the feet would come again, and whether he imagined what an interest he had and whether he imagined what an interest he had created in my inquiring mind, and finally what possessed him to be prowling about there with no shoes on. The fireplace was on my right, and the spot where I saw the track was on my left. It was in this direction that my attention was mostly directed, thinking the visitor would appear, and besides, it was easier to sit and face that way. Suddenly, I was startled by a shrill whistle, such as boys produce with 2 fingers under their tongue, and turning quickly, I ejaculated, "Good God!" as I saw the object of my solicitude standing beside my fire, erect and looking suspiciously around. It was in the image of a man, but it could not have been human. I was never so numb with astonishment before this. The creature, whatever it was, stood 5 feet high, disproportionately broad and square at the shoulders, with arms of great length. The legs were very short and the body long. The head was small compared with the rest of this creature, and appeared to be set upon his shoulders without a neck. The whole was covered with dark brown and cinnamon-colored hair, quite long on some parts, that on the head standing in a shock and growing close down to the eyes. As I looked, he threw his head back and whistled again, and then stooped and grabbed a stick from the fire. He swung the stick round and round until the fire on the end had gone out. Then he repeated the maneuver. I was dumb. I could only just look. 15 minutes I sat and watched him, and he whistled and scattered my fire about. I could easily have put a bullet through his head, but why should I kill him? Having amused myself, apparently, all he had desired with my fire, he started to go, and having gone a short distance, he returned and was joined by another, a female, unmistakably female, when they both turned and walked past me within 20 yards where I sat, and disappeared in the brush. I could not have had a better opportunity for observing them, as they were unconscious of my presence. Their only object in visiting my camp seemed to be amusing themselves with swinging lighted sticks around. I have heard this story many times since then, and it has often raised an incredulous smile. But I have met one person who has seen the mysterious creatures, and a dozen who have come across their tracks at various places between here and Pacheco Pass. The end.
And what area is that in?
Pacheco Pass. And it was in Grayson, California. Grayson, California.
Grayson.
Gray. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look that up. Grayson, California. I think I heard that's. I think I'm up near L.A. somewhere. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But I crazy you.
That's our Bigfoot.
All right, he's gonna have to.
That's our Bigfoot in the background.
Yeah. Oh, I talked to Kira. She's not going to come on because she's tired. She's going to go to sleep. She's falling asleep. She said she'd snore like a big bear or something in the background.
Can't be no worse than what's going on now.
So now, that's a long article, but I'm reading this to you because here we have a man in the 1870s, and he was disturbed. His campsite was being disturbed, and he's like, all right, I'm sitting behind to see who's screwing around with my campsite. And he saw a male and a female, and thankfully, they didn't figure out who he was, or, the situation,
Right.
But it's kind of interesting that he said that he could have put a bullet in him, But I'm guessing, in the 1870s, I don't know if he was there on foot or if he had a horse. Well, it didn't mention he had an animal or anything like that, but I would figure if he would have put a bullet in one of them, he probably would not have been found the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, those creatures probably would have, had him for lunch.
Wow. Yeah, I guess. But they actually just walked away, him and his mate, right past the man about, what do you say, 100 yards, 200 yards, something like that? Or was it less?
It was less. I think he measured it in feet. But, yeah, hold on. Let me see how far away he was. But it says about 60 or 70 feet from the fire.
Okay.
So it
wasn't that far then.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that far. I'm surprised they didn't smell him. I guess the fire, but maybe the fire, if you started the fire, kind of like the Native Americans, they'll start a fire and they'll have the smoke, they'll get in front of the smoke and that'll mask their smell while they're hunting.
Yeah, well, there's another way you can mask your smell too. Native Americans used to use deer hides or whatever that weren't no good, and they'd burn the deer hides in the fire, and the scent from the deer hide, believe it or not, would scent or mask the human scent.
Mm-hmm. Well, but here, I mean, this was a pretty long article, but he gave a very, clear description of what he saw. He saw a male and a female, and I guess in those days, they were just being modest. He just clearly said unmistakably female.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You remember Tim Peel? You remember Tim Peeler?
Yeah.
When he said, when he described seeing it, he said, that's when I saw its groin, and that's when I knew it was a male. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here it is in the 70s. This guy is saying he saw a male and female.
Yeah. Well, it's that time of hour again, so I'm glad everybody joined, especially the snoring Bigfoot.
I'm still awake.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Gentle Giant, and this is the Bigfoot Radio for this week. And we would like you all to tune in next week for some more Bigfoot Radio. And all of us on the Bigfoot Radio Network, we would also like to thank our guests for joining in on the discussion tonight on this talk show. And we would also like to thank you, our listeners, for sharing our adventures with us. Join us again next Friday evening for another exciting hour of Bigfoot Radio with the Bigfoot research teams from across the country. And we would also especially like to thank our listeners. Until then, this is the Gentle Giant saying good night, be good, be safe, and we will see you here again next week. Until then, keep Bigfoot live and keep Bigfooting. See you all again next week. Bye-bye, and have a nice night.
Just like a man. Well,